Before we get started, you see that there? That's the moon. How cool is that we've got the moon in the background like that? Anyway, what I want to do today is just share the average day that I had prior to starting the Lion Diet, what it was like for me, because I've shared what it was like when I was getting the hemiplegic migraines, but to be honest, the days when I wasn't getting them wasn't really that much better anyway. So I thought I would share what that's like and see if maybe you're going through something similar so that you can hear from someone who's on the other side of it and know that what I'm sharing is similar to what you have. So I always set my alarm for 7:45. That's what I always wake up at that time for whatever reason. It just seems to work for me. So I'd set the alarm for then and I'd get out of bed. Some days I'd wake up and my hand would be numb, but not every day. I wouldn't say on average, I would say some days. It was quite common, but not every day. So I'd wake up, every day this would happen. I'd get out of bed and I would just stand by the bed for a while and my back would really hurt. When I first stood up, my upper back would really hurt and I would just stand there and wait for it to settle down. Because if I just stood there and didn't move, it's like my back would adjust and it would settle. So I would wait a while and then after, it wasn't a long time, let's say a minute or so, maybe, of just standing there, I would then go and have a shower and then I would go and what I would do with a shower is I'd have a hot shower and end on cold. And I used to find that those cold showers, if my upper traps and everything were really tight, sometimes it would relax it a bit. But if it got too tight, then I wouldn't do it because I found I could tense up more, you know? So it was, I had to sort of judge it based on how I felt on the day. So shower, and then afterwards I'd go and have breakfast, which was always brown flakes with almond milk and loads of honey. I thought I was being healthy, having the brown flakes, because that was what I was told, that they was a health food. So I'd have that. Same thing with the almond milk. I was told that was healthy. So I'd have that. And then I would go upstairs and I would sit on my bed and I'd cross my legs and then I would look down to the left like this to stretch this out here, all of this, because this gets really tight. And I would just sit like this for as long as I could. And I would scroll through my phone at the same time, just sitting like this, scrolling through the phone. So the lights would be off and I'd just be scrolling through, head down like that. I wouldn't move and I could really feel a stretch. I don't think it was a muscle, I don't know, but I don't think it was a muscle. I think it was a nerve that was actually being stretched in here, okay? So I would do that until about 2 minutes to 9 or 1 minute to 9, literally. And then I would go in my office and start work. So then I would start work and I'd get on the computer, and if I had to phone the client, it was always a really awkward one because my mind wouldn't work properly in the morning at all. It wasn't like I was just dopey and tired or whatnot. It was like, it just wouldn't work. It was similar to like when you have a hemiplegic migraine, you know, when you can't think straight and you can't think of words. It would be like that, but maybe let's say like 30% of that. It wouldn't be the full thing. And I wouldn't be able to think properly. And so the first hour I was always like that. The first hour between 9 and 10, I was always rubbish. And I would start my day with a Lucozade to try and get me going. And then at about 10, I would usually have a coffee. Now, I can't say it was always at the same time because it wasn't, you know, it changed, but I would have, my hand would go numb, or there'd be like tingling in my fingers, not totally numb, just partially numb, or there'd be like tingling in my fingers or whatever. Usually the little finger and the ring finger, pinky finger and the ring finger would be the ones. I would have like some partial numbness in the left side of the face normally. I would get it in the right side sometimes, but mainly the left. I would have another thing would be this like pinprick light that would just sort of go boom across the vision. But it wasn't that it was actually there, because if I moved my eyes, it would move with my eye and go over there, yeah? So I had that happen quite a lot. I used to get that more in the morning, I believe. Yeah, it was more in the morning I would get that. It was more in the morning. I would have burning in the neck, like a burning sensation in the neck. The tightness through here all the time, obviously. So that stuff would be going on through my morning. Then it would be at 12, I would stop working for lunch. So what I'd do is I would go downstairs, make myself scrambled eggs on toast. Interestingly enough, obviously toast, I come back all gluten containing grains I have a high level of reactivity to, but also eggs I do, which is interesting because again, I thought I was doing something healthy here. So I'd have scrambled eggs on toast with, you know that, I don't know what it's called. It's not butter, it's margarine or whatever, you know, the one they tell you is really healthy, that's a load of rubbish as well. I used to have that, and then loads and loads and loads of tomato sauce with it. Then what I'd do is I'd go for a walk. I used to walk up this big hill and then walk down. Now, when I used to go for walks, because of my neck, what I used to have to do was I would always be like here and I would look up. So I'd always tilt my neck down, but then look up with my eyes like that. And so, because the reason why I would do that was because if I had my neck up like this, sometimes I would get this pinching feeling in the back of my neck here. And when I get that, it would often make numbness, cause numbness in my hand or in my face. So I used to walk around like that. Now, if I saw someone that I knew and I stopped to talk to them, I would obviously still be doing the same thing, looking up at them, even if they were shorter than me, because I'm looking down and up like that. I would be doing that. And sometimes, it wasn't always, but sometimes I couldn't make their face out. I could see their face, and if I tried to focus on an individual feature like their nose or their mouth, I could see it. But for whatever reason, I just couldn't take the whole face in and see it. And I sometimes think now that I don't even really pay attention to the way people look so much. And I wonder if it's because I just got used to not doing it. I don't know. Or maybe that's just who I am. But I genuinely don't really pay attention to the way people look. And back then I actually couldn't, because I would try to. Because I would know how bad I was based on how easily it was to see their face. Yeah. So I would do that, then I would come back, and then it'd be back into my bedroom. Oh, sorry, obviously while I was doing that, always had the sunglasses on because my eyes were so sensitive. And through the whole day, this is the other thing, all the curtains would be drawn. I would never have this by, even in the nighttime like this, if I lived here, I wouldn't have had that open, no way. Because one of them cars in that car park over there, if they turn a corner in the headlight and that dazzles me, that could set all the problems off. So when I was going for these walks, sunglasses would always be on, even if it was like rainy or whatever, because again, people have head torches, people got, the dogs have got torches on them, all sorts of stuff, you know, and then the cars is the main one. So do that, back in the bedroom with where I had the blackout blind, and then I actually had one I'd stuck and a blackout, so a Velcro one and a blackout blind, and then a blind over the front, and then the lights off, and then close the thing, so it was proper dark. And then I would sit there and then same thing, head tilted down like that, just scrolling through the phone. If I put the phone on really low brightness, it never caused me any issues at all. It's only when it was on full, I would sometimes find it had them things go across my vision, what I mentioned earlier. So I'd do that, and then, oh, I forgot a big thing here. Okay, this is the other thing, sorry, that I used to do. There's a breathing exercise. There's like a 3-minute, I think it is, breathing exercise, which is a really fast one where it's you're literally at this pace, you're going and you do that 33 times. So one of the videos there, I could share the video if anyone wants it. You do it 33 times and it's a long exhale, and then you hold, and while holding it I would get that stretch all through here, and it would really help. That would genuinely really help me. I would do that in the morning. When I was saying going through the phone, I would do the breathing, then I would go through the phone after, just like relaxed. So I would do that in the morning, then I would do that at lunchtime as well, and then I'd be going back to work, and I'd work from 1 p.m. through till about 3. And then although I would carry on working through 3 p.m, there was no point because I was totally useless. Until about 4, and then I did used to pick up a bit. Then I'd be hammering Lucozade, coffee, green tea, just constantly drinking more and more of this stuff, hoping it'd give me energy. And it did a little bit, it picked me up a bit, you know, not to the level I'm at now, but from where I was, you know. So I'd do that, and then I would finish work. Again, through this whole period, I'm getting numbness, I'm getting tingling, I'm getting burning. Sometimes I used to get this almost like swollen feeling. This is only in 2023 when it was at its worst. I never had it before then. But I'd get this like swollen feeling in my hand. It wasn't swollen, but it would feel kind of like it, the left hand. So I'd do that. Then I would finish work, and I used to go for a little walk around the block. Again, looking down like that. I used to love it when it rained, because when it rained, I could put my hood up and then I could walk around like that and no one would really see me looking ridiculous, because it did look ridiculous. You know, someone walking around like this all the time. So I used to put the hood up, and then it would, you know, I'd feel a bit better. So when it was dark, you'd do that, and, you know, you wouldn't feel as silly. If it's like a bright sunshine, you're walking around with your hood up, I didn't really feel comfortable doing that. So anyway, I'd go for a little walk, and that used to really help, actually, to stretch it out. This is another big thing. Hand in the pocket, or like the trouser pocket, and then I can kind of pull a little bit, and it'd get a bit of a stretch through here if I was looking down. So used to do that. I'd go for a little walk, and then I'd come back, and then I would make dinner, and then I would wash up. And my dinner used to be like pasta, southern fried chicken. I had a point where I used to eat 5 cookies and southern fried chicken, and that was my dinner. I used to love it, and it used to make me feel so bad, but I used to enjoy all the sugar and everything. Used to have a lot of chips and burgers as well. This is when I just basically give up on my health. I'm like, I'm doing all this stuff, all this physio stuff, none of it's working. They're telling me there's no solution. They're telling me there's no cause either. And I started to live really, really bad. This is 2023, like eating all this rubbish. And I think that was when it made it so bad that it then forced me to have to take an extreme action like doing the Lion diet, because my health got so bad that I was then willing to commit to it because I was so desperate. So, but prior to that, my dinner used to be pasta, broccoli, sweet corn, carrots, and regular chicken breast. That was what I would normally eat. Normally chicken. Yeah, I used to eat a hell of a lot of chicken breast. So yeah, that was it really, pasta. So I'd do that, I'd eat. And then I would do that. I would do some physio exercises as well, actually, before eating, just thinking about it. I'd done absolutely nothing, but I used to do all of that. So go for a walk, and then I'd do physio. Then I would eat. And then afterwards, I'd be sitting back down, trying to stretch all this out. Then I would go through a load of work. I'd phone my mum, talk to her for a bit, and then I would go through a load of work that my team had done, check all of that stuff. And then I would go back to that position of stretching the neck, do the breathing again to try and settle it all down. Again, through this whole time, I'm getting numbness and tingling. If I was doing the washing up, I'd be getting a lot of pain, like holding them plates and trying to scrub with the brush. I'd be getting a lot of pain in that ulnar nerve through here if I had to use this left hand. And then, yeah, so I'd do the breathing, lay down and go to sleep. And when I laid down, I had to have my head tilted to the left like this for whatever reason to allow this to stretch out. If I didn't do that, I would often find I would get numbness in the hand. Now, when this got really bad, I really found a position I could get into that didn't cause that problem, which was exactly as I'm saying. It was, I think I slightly turned my torso this way a bit as well and tilted. I think it was there, or was it that way? No, it was that way. It's to the left and tilted this way. So if I got in that position, I wouldn't get the numbness. But if I didn't, then I would, because I would get pinching. If I just tried to lay straight on my back, I would. If my neck was really bad, 2 pillows here would help. So it pushed me forward a bit, and then it wouldn't cause the numbness as much. But there were times where I couldn't really lay on my back because it would cause the hand to go numb because of that, whatever's going on in the back there. So that's the average day. Now, on the rare days when I would have to go out because I'd have to go shopping, I would take the car, let's say it was lunchtime or whatever, like the weekend, yeah. I would take the car, I would prepare for it first. So I'd do a lot of that breathing exercise I spoke about with really fast, rapid breathing. And then the long exhale and the hold. The long exhale, hold breathing really helped for me. It really did help settle things down. So I would do that, get myself in a position where I don't feel too bad, get in the car. Now, my old boss used to say that when I was driving around, people must have thought I looked like I was about 7 foot tall, because I used to have the seat really close to the steering wheel so that I could have you can't really see, but I used to have my arms like here, so I didn't have to put them out, because if I put them out, it put more pressure on all this. So I used to sit really close, and I used to have the back, this is the other thing, I didn't want to be laid back like this when I'm driving, because then I'm rounding the back forward to do this. So I used to have the seat really close upright like this. So I'm literally locked in like this, driving along. And where was I going with this? So yeah, I used to wait until I didn't feel too bad, get in the car, and I'm driving along like that. It must have looked ridiculous, to be fair. It really must have looked silly when you think back. I'd do that, drive over to the Tesco, which was 10-minute drive away. If that, it might have even been less than that. And I'd drive over there, and then I'd get there, I'd walk around Tesco. I used to feel so bad walking around Tesco, honestly. It was horrible. I think because of them fluorescent lights and everything, or just everything going on, all the stimulation, all the noise, whatever it is, I used to hate it. And the whole time I'm freaking out, like, I hope this don't kick off. I hope I don't get a hemiplegic migraine now, you know, panicking all the time, like thinking, right, if it kicks off now and I start getting the aura, it's like 4.5 hours or whatever it is minimum for me that I'm gonna have to go through this. I can't wait in the car park for that long. I'm like, as soon as it kicks off, I gotta go. I was very lucky that it never ever happened while I was driving. I was so lucky, because I always feared that. I remember one of the specialists I spoke to said to me it was an irrational fear, but it bloody well wasn't. I was always terrified of that happening. Being on a motorway or something and that kicking off, I was like, oh God, I hope that don't happen. And so I'd be worried about that the whole time going around Tesco. But that's about as far as I ventured out when it was at its worst, because there's no way I'm going further than that. Worst case scenario, I could have left the car there and walked back. It wouldn't have been a nice walk. To go over not a mountain, but a hill that's close to being a mountain to get back. But I could have done it. And I probably would have, because if it kicked off, I wouldn't have driven, you know. So I would do that, I'd drive back. Now, when I got back, I would have to then try and settle all this down again. So I would have to, and I couldn't just sit down and do the breathing and stretch it. I would have to wait. So that's what the scrolling through the phone was about. Looking down here, scrolling was, let all this settle a bit, then I can do the breathing, and then I can allow that to relax a bit more. So that's what would happen on the rare occasions that I did do the driving, when I did go out, which, as I say, wasn't actually that often. Now, at my very worst, what I done was I just got Tesco to deliver instead of me driving over there and having to spend all that time, because 10 minutes there, 20 minutes in there, 10 minutes back, 40 minutes, but then an hour to recover, and then let's say an hour to get ready. That was my whole day pretty much taken up. And then I was exhausted after doing that. It knackered me. So I started to order, and then they would just deliver me a bunch of junk food, basically. And that was my existence for a very, very long time. I am not missing any details out here that I can think of. It was literally like that. That was it. So you can see now why I bring so much passion to these videos, and I want to share it with you, because if there's anyone else living like that, it breaks my heart, because I know how horrible it was. So if that's what you're doing, you've just heard that I done the same thing, and you know what my life's like now. You know that the Lion Diet fixed it for me. It was diet that ultimately changed all of that, and I would have never have thought it, nor would anyone else. The amount of people I spoke to who, you know, like that thing everyone parrots about how it's calories in, calories out. It doesn't matter what you eat, you can eat anything, it's just that you're eating too much and whatnot. Crazy, isn't it? Everyone just says that. If you're paying attention, you realise it ain't. Anyway, I'm going to end the video now. I'm sure there's going to be about 100 things I think of after that I should have mentioned that I didn't. But for the interest of time, I'll leave it there. Hope you enjoyed and hope it helps. Cheers.